All right, gang, what is going on? So you can tell that it's been a while since I've recorded, since I last recorded a YouTube video, because in my last video I was in a vest and now I'm in a jumper. Winter is hitting hard in the UK at the moment, but nevertheless, let's jump in and talk about chaos. And that's what I want to talk about today is the chaos that comes along with being a small business owner, and ultimately my best attempt at dealing with that chaos along the way, along the journey. So I've been running the business for 5 years, and I've currently got like 11 projects on at the moment, all in different stages. Some are in pre-production, some we've just been through production, so they're now gone into post. Some of them needing to be edited and stuff like that. And what I've learned more and more is that chaos is really kind of just part and parcel of running a business, right? You've got all of these different wheels that you're spinning at many different times. And ultimately, what I've come to learn, and this is a direct quote from Hormozy, is that it's just a dichotomy to be managed rather than a problem to be solved. You're never going to create a business that doesn't come along with some kind of chaos and some, just general problems, and things that are needed to be fixed all the time and that sort of stuff. So here is basically my best take in terms of kind of dealing with the chaos that we'll find day to day as business owners. The first thing you might have guessed is the systems that you have within your business. So this is SOPs, this is software, this is anything that you can automate, right? Really beginning to ultimately bring structure into your business, because systems are structure, processes are structure, and then structure really is just stability within the business. So a couple of the systems that I have to kind of manage the chaos on a day-to-day basis is my daily and morning SOP. So a set list of tasks that I run through every single day when I can. I basically have one when I'm in the office, and what I'm going to start doing now that we've just been through one of the busiest periods that I can remember. So what I'm going to do now is have an SOP for when I'm in the office, and then an SOP for when I'm on the road. So the one on the road is going to be like very basic, just replying to emails, replying to WhatsApps, keeping things updated, updating documents, pre-production, all of that sort of stuff, so that really things don't get lost, and tasks don't kind of fall to the wayside when we're on production. It's something that I've constantly tried to manage, and really be on top of, because if you don't stay on top of things, then you just come back to a load of shit. So you've been away and now everything feels messy and it takes a couple of days to clean up, which we don't want. The next thing is then project and operational SOPs, right? And this really comes from kind of having a niche or an industry that you specify and you work within, because ultimately if you're doing an animation on Monday and then a corporate video on Tuesday and then a I don't know, like a product explainer video on Wednesday and then an event on Thursday, like all of those different projects are going to have different processes and systems that you're going to need to follow, and it's going to get messy. But if you pick one, for us it's events, right? Every single client that we have basically follows the exact same process through pre-production, production, and then post-production, right? A couple of things are slightly different client to client, but ultimately the process that each client goes through is very typical and very similar, which means that I can open up my project tracker and see where each client is and ultimately what needs to be done next in order to move them through the operational pipeline. The next thing is then sales and marketing SOPs as well. So ultimately, I think this is going to be one of the biggest drivers for bottlenecks and stagnation within any business. You get super busy, so the marketing and sales slows down, and then when you're finished with all the work that you've got to do, I'm speaking from personal experience here, but when you're finished with all the work that you've got to do, the pipeline's dry, and then it takes like 2 months to build the pipeline back up and have conversations going and that sort of stuff. At least it does in the events industry. But what I do have now is a kind of basic system for continuing getting the marketing kind of up to speed, and then continuing sales processes and follow-ups and quotes, which keep people moving through our pipeline, right? Which means that when I come back, similar to the project thing, I can kind of just open up my sales tracker and open up my marketing documents, and I can kind of see where people are and what the next action that needs to be taken in order for them to move through the pipeline is. So ultimately, kind of to round up on this point of systems, they just add structure, and really just give you an opportunity to see exactly where different people are within the different stages of your business, be it sales or marketing or projects or operations, like all of this different stuff. And that helps just for things not to be in your head all the time, basically. The next point that I've got here about dealing with chaos is just understanding who you are as a person and what your needs are as a human being to allow you to operate at the most effective levels to deal with the chaos, right? Because foundationally, if you as a person aren't settled and emotionally stable, then dealing with that chaos is just going to be like 10 times, probably 20, 50, 100 times harder. So just kind of taking a moment to really, understand you, what you like, what you don't like, what gives you energy, what doesn't give you energy, or what takes from your energy, and being able to strategically place activities or tasks or habits in that are going to allow you to keep your basically like your mental and physical batteries topped up and allow you to deal with the chaos, like I said. For me, that basically kind of looks like keeping my personal life relatively boring, right? I don't really do a lot outside of work other than maintaining relationships with friends and family and stuff like that. And that's because I ultimately want to be able to give my all and my energy and everything to my work. Okay, I have ambitious goals, stuff that I want to do within life, and that's not going to happen if I kind of have one foot in and one foot out. It needs to be all in, and that's what I've realized. A boring personal life doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually boring. It just looks boring on the outside, I have a fantastic relationship with my fiance, soon to be wife. Like I said, friends and family, those relationships are pretty solid as well. They don't take a lot of energy and attention. We don't have drama. Like, I can avoid drama entirely in my personal life because it's just not conducive to me being in the most emotionally stable place to run the business and do the things that I really want to do. And then I think the final thing on this kind of personal needs angle is to understand that chaos is not linear, right? Ultimately, it will increase and decrease in intensity through periods of your life. And this can really be summed up with the quote of "this too shall pass." It's taken me a long time to actually kind of realize that and understand that lesson. I think everybody's heard that, but, in terms of like really being able to feel what that phrase actually means, I know that when we're in a chaotic period, it's just do the next logical thing that I need to do in order to kind of move people through and complete projects and get things done. And ultimately, the chaos will decrease, the intensity will decrease, and things will return to a state of kind of perceived equilibrium, basically. And then they'll ramp up again and they'll go back down. And that's just kind of the ebbs and flows of life. And I think that ultimately this is kind of one of those unteachable lessons, something that you need to feel and experience in order to properly take in as a lesson. But just know that they don't stay chaotic forever, and even if it feels like it will never kind of return to a state of equilibrium, like I just mentioned, it definitely will, and it always does, right? And kind of this will be a great reminder for me next time that we're currently in one, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I feel like I can manage quite well from an emotional level at the moment. And finally, to kind of round this video off, is I just want to talk about health, right, and your biology. Like, ultimately, as humans, we are biological creatures. So the food that you eat and the sleep that you get and, the liquid that you consume and all of that sort of stuff will have an impact on, again, your ability to be emotionally stable in dealing with the chaos, right? Ultimately, this just boils down to, like, don't be an idiot, right? Like, eat good food, sleep well, don't drink that much. Like, if you want to have a beer, but like, just don't get drunk, because then it's going to affect your sleep, and you probably have a kebab before you go to bed, and that's going to affect your sleep and how you feel the next day. And even though you may be kind of feeling better or feeling more at ease in the moment, it's just going to make things like twice as bad tomorrow. So just don't be an idiot, right? Like, I think people overcomplicate health. I really think they do. Like, you've just got to be smart. Like, you're a smart cookie. If you've got to the end of this video of me rambling on about chaos within business, right, you're smart enough to realize that your health and your mental well-being will have a massive impact on your ability to deal with chaos within your business. So that's everything for this video. Feel free to check out the rest of the videos on the channel. I do weekly sit-downs like this where I talk about the stuff that I'm learning within the business as I progress towards the final destination of a world-class video production company. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.